Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
What's up, everybody?
What up?
Happy Blood Moon, Full Moon, Blood Moon Thursday the 13th. Guys, we are continuing our series of discussing Florida movies filmed in Florida or set in Florida. We sound okay? Guys, drop some oranges in the chat if we're sounding good tonight.
Testicles. Test.
Yellow. So, we're talking about Caddyshack tonight. This is a movie that I grew up watching. My dad liked it. It's number one because it's a Boca Raton movie. I grew up in Boca Raton. It was partially filmed in Boca Raton, Florida. That's the city I was born in. So my dad liked to watch it. And also, it's very much like a golfing country club type of neighborhood. Like those type of neighborhoods are all over Florida. Golfing, polo, yacht, clubs. And, I grew up in some neighborhoods like that. And it's very much like a caricature, stereotype, total spoof of what it's like to grow up in Florida, in South Florida in particular. So it totally encapsulates it, and it's a perfect kind of, they hit all the key points. It's a funny movie. I do like this movie. It's silly. There are some things we probably shouldn't like about it, but it's a funny movie. And Caddyshack. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. But that's what we're talking about tonight. Have you ever seen it, Juan?
No, this is my first time ever seeing it, bro.
Nice.
Not a movie I'd watch if it wasn't for this particular show. And like I was telling you, I was kind of struggling a little bit trying to find something of substance from the movie, but we'll see what happens. I think that the overall message, like somebody put class issues. I don't know if we were talking about the movie, but it is about classes, a hierarchy. The people at the top are at the top. The people at the bottom stay at the bottom. And then you have the gopher, which is from the underworld, as above, so below sort of thing. So, yeah, I'm excited to get into it, man.
Chill, yeah. And at first glance, kind of like Juan's saying, at first glance, you might not think there is much to talk about with Caddyshack. But golf in general, we've discussed a lot on my channel with Juan. Golf is perhaps the most occult sport, most esoteric, most Freemasonic, right? It's like Juan said also, it's the sport most connected with the underworld. How many sports involve penetrating the surface of the earth and going down, right? Not many. So you've got that. You've got also golf coming out of Scotland, Freemasonry, right? Also coming out of Scotland. We're going to talk about the link between golf and Freemasonry tonight. There's a very, very strong one. Concrete evidence, concrete, association. But then also Zen Buddhism. Buddhism in general is going to come up a lot tonight. It's referenced in the movie a lot. And it turns out there was actually a Japanese colony in Boca Raton, Florida, that we're going to be talking about tonight. Also, of course, the menace in this movie, the main antagonist, is a gopher. The gopher who's terrorizing the golf course. Well, we talk a lot about gopher wood on this channel. And gophers in this movie have a heck of a lot to do with gopher wood, believe it or not. There's a lumber yard in the movie, and you'll see how these two scenes line up. They're talking about gophers, then they're talking about wood. Gopher wood. For those who don't know, gopher wood is what Noah's Ark was constructed out of in the Old Testament, in the Bible. And gopher wood has been unidentified in Eurasia, for hundreds, thousands of years. They don't know what wood it is. But gopher wood does grow in Florida. There's a wood known as gopher wood in Florida. And also, gophers are native to the Americas, but the word gopher is used in the Old Testament. What the heck? We're going to get into all that tonight, too. Okay? The word gopher is a native Floridian word.
I also want to add another cool little find here that. Oh, hold on. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
That gopher also means, because we were talking about the honeybees last episode, and the bee and the the whole symbolism with Utah, the beehive and all that. Well, the word gopher actually comes from the French word gopher, I guess, which means honeycomb or waffle, which I thought was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then obviously, how you said in Genesis, the gopher wood tree, or the tree of the gopher, I think is the way they say it sometimes. So definitely a connection there.
100%. And then also we're going to be talking about some Jeffrey Epstein type, how can you say this? Can you say human trafficking on YouTube? I don't know if you can. We're not endorsing anything like that, of course, not whatsoever. But this movie kind of brings up some questionable rabbit holes and
gopher holes.
The aristocracy of South Florida being involved in things like Jeffrey Epstein, has been involved in.
He was in South Florida. I mean, essentially, it's where he was.
So we're gonna talk about that tonight. There's a lot to Caddyshack beyond just what meets the eye, right? There's a lot of deep rabbit holes, or should we say gopher holes, okay? We're going down, dude. That's a merch idea right there, dude. That's a good shirt idea.
What?
Deep down the gopher hole.
Yeah, let's do it. And then have a flag, whatever the flag is called. Yeah, dude, we could do it. Got some nice AI art for it.
No, kill that noise. Well, Buddhism keeps coming up in this movie. There's also a priest who potentially makes a deal with the devil or is struck dead by lightning.
Yeah, that was funny.
That's a little bit later on in the movie. And also the main guy, just a heads up, the main producer of this movie, Douglas Kenny, he actually met a early death at 33 years of age. Tragic. No one saw it coming. Questionable circumstances. Some say he fell off a cliff. Some say he jumped. Okay. Weird stuff. We're going to get into all of it, but first we kind of need to lay out the whole movie. Here, for those who haven't seen it, get everyone on the same page. Juan, you want to pull up the movie and we'll just kind of gloss through from the beginning? Cool. Yep. So, starts out on the golf course, and we've got a gopher. You see that there's a gopher burrowing underneath, and he starts dancing to the intro music. Right? So if we keep moving on, then you see Danny. We're introduced to Danny Noonan, the main character, you could say. And Wikipedia describes his family as a Roman family. And I didn't really know what that meant. I looked into it. Apparently, that's where it can mean a lot of things, but there's multiple families living in one home like a cheaper by the dozen type situation.
Look at his shirt.
Let us know in the chat if you guys know what a Roman family means. But Roman family, I think it just means like a packed house, right?
His shirt's got the CC on it. It's like Bushwood CC or something.
Yeah, let's talk
there.
about the shirt. CC, third letter of the alphabet is C. So you can interpret CC as 33.
$30 plus tips.
That's Country Club. 33. Country Club. Coral Castle. Christopher Columbus. Right? You can go on and on. But he's wearing the Country Club insignia on his hat, and he's got the Country Club shirt. That's his uniform for work. Well, we're introduced to Danny. He's got a big family, busy family. He's graduating high school. He's got to go to college, and he's a caddy. Okay? Well, his dad says, hey, how much did you make? And he says, $30. So I caught this at the beginning. And that made me think of 30 pieces of silver, right? 30 pieces of silver that Jesus was, sold out for. Because his dad questions him, how much did you make? He says, $30 plus tips, right? Kind of makes me think of that. 30 pieces of silver or whatever. $30, who cares? Well, then we see Danny go to work, and he's at the Caddyshack. So that's where we get the title of the movie. He's going to work at the Caddyshack, and they're at the Bushwood Country Club. For those who haven't seen the movie, it's set in Florida, but actually it doesn't look too much like Florida. Now, did you know here, we start off seeing the country club, and you don't see any palm trees or anything that would immediately let you know that it's Florida. Now, that was actually what they wanted. They looked for a golf course in Florida that didn't look like beachy tropical Florida, right? They wanted it to kind of look like 40s or 50s Florida before people started making it look so tropical. Not completely, but you'll notice that there is a banyan tree, though, which does give it away on one scene. I think it's in the thumbnail, actually, right? So the banyan tree, there's one banyan tree on the golf course, but you don't see many palm trees. There's a couple here and there, right? But the movie's filmed around Boca Raton, Florida, which is, of course, very ritzy, very upper class, high income, Jewish, largely Jewish city. And then there's also Davie, Florida. So the movie's filmed between Davie, Florida and Boca Raton, Florida. And there's the Boca Raton Country Club, Boca Raton Hotel. And then there's also, they call it Rolling Hills Country Club or Rolling Hills Golf Club. So between those two locations, most of the movie was filmed. All right, so Danny's a caddy. We see him hanging out with the other caddies or whatever. Or no, maybe not yet. We're introduced to him with Ty Webb. So it's Ty Webb is the gentleman that Danny's caddying for. And Ty is related to the owners of the club. Okay, he's very well off. He's inherited money. He's part of a wealthy family. He has a very easy life. He just plays golf all day. He's very talented. He's one of the best golfers around. But he doesn't take life too seriously. He's a bit of a womanizer, likes to have a good time. All right. And this is a comedy movie, by the way. So it's very funny. But they start talking, and right away, he makes a comment about force, right? The force of the universe. There's a force that permeates all things, and something like that. And he does kind of like a blindfold, challenges himself, blindfolds, and he says, oh, you can tap into this force that's all around the universe, right? That's pretty metaphysical, occult, we're later filled in that he's into Zen Buddhism and Buddhism in general. Chevy Chase's character, Ty Webb. But all right, so they're caddying. Danny's a caddy. He likes to caddy for this guy because he's young. Everyone else in the club's very old, right? You've also got, we're introduced to the judge, who is I don't know what his position is in the club, but he's high up in the club. He's very wealthy. He has a lot of status. He's well known.
I thought he owned it.
I don't know if he owns it. I think he's just part of the board or something like that. Because he doesn't have much say. You know, he's getting pissed off the whole movie, and like he doesn't kick anyone out or anything. And he breaks the rules later on. But he notices the Gophers. He notices the gopher is terrorizing the course, tearing it up, causing damage. And what's interesting is he's saying gopher, gopher, gopher. And then they point over to the construction site and they're building. Lots of building, construction. Now, this isn't the Noah's Ark reference or the Gopher Wood reference, but it's close, right? We're getting a lot of building, a lot of wood going up, construction.
Another
Kinda
CC.
Kind of like Noah building the ark. But the more concrete reference comes a little bit later. So this is Al Czervik's construction. So we're introduced to the name Al Czervik, or Czervik, however you say it, Czervik. And he's going to come up later. He's another kind of, not an antagonist, but he disrupts things in the movie, right? Very funny character. Rodney Dangerfield. I think that's his name. Yeah.
Al Cervix.
Yeah, Al Cervix. So we're also introduced to the Scottish groundskeeper or greenskeeper. The Scottish greenskeeper is also kind of like a stereotype, cliche of American golf courses, is that they all want a Scottish greenskeeper to seem, you know, authentic. And it's like when you open a Mexican restaurant and you want like Hispanic people to work there, or you open a Asian restaurant and you want Asian people to work there, right? To like make it seem
Authentic. Yeah.
Like, hey, we got a Scottish guy at the course. Yeah, you know, we're one of the best. So that's true. You know, there were Scottish people at my some of the neighborhoods I grew up at that had golf courses on them or near them. You'd see some people from around the world, right? Usually Scotland, right? Because golf, it's a bit of a controversy, but golf as we know it today comes out of Scotland. Yes, every culture around the world played some type of stickball. Okay, many of them on the ground, many of them long distances and holes in the ground too. China, ancient Rome, Native Americans, you know, the Celts themselves, right? We're not going too deep into the history of golf today, but golf as we know it came out of Scotland. What else, as we know it, came out of Scotland, largely? You could say Britain and England too, but I think it's really Scotland. Freemasonry.
Illuminati confirmed.
Now we're going to get into how much of a link there is between Freemasonry and the origin of golfing. And there's a huge link. Huge. But we've got this Scottish guy. He's saying, hey, we got to get this gopher out of here. Okay. So then we move on and we're introduced to Bill Murray's character. Right? I forget his name.
Carl.
Now he is like, I guess, just a groundskeeper or just a general laborer kind of handyman. Yeah, he's like a live-in steward kind of. He follows the instruction of the greenskeeper. Well, we're introduced to him, and he's polishing his golf balls. Okay,
Stroking it.
he's stroking it, and then his boss comes over, McIllen, whatever this guy's name is, whatever trope name they gave him. But he says we got to get rid of the gopher. Now, what's interesting is he points out, he says gopher, and he says it in a Scottish accent, right? Gopher, gopher. And Bill Murray thinks he's saying golfer, that he wants me to kill all the golfers, right? Because of the accent, kind of. Now, that did jump out to me because I've talked about the etymology of gopher a lot on this channel. And people always also like to point out the link between golf and Gulf. Gulf of America, right? Golf, gopher. You can link all these together, right? It's not just random associations. And he says, no, not golfers, the Gophers. And Bill Murray says, okay. So for the rest of the movie, Bill Murray's on a mission to get rid of these gophers. And we move on. We're introduced to, the Caddyshack, all the other caddies, and the other caddies Danny works with. Whatever.
Let's talk about the Dalai Lama here if you want to talk about that.
Oh, yeah, here we go. So early on, right, we check back in with Carl. He's at the Caddyshack talking to some caddies, Bill Murray's character, and he has a pitchfork up to this guy's neck, and he's telling him a story about how he, Carl, used to be a caddy, and how he was caddying around the world in like all these exotic places, and he caddied for the Dalai Lama, the 12th Dalai Lama or whatever, And he gets it wrong. He says like, oh, he's the son of the last Dalai Lama or something, like, he's like making it up as he goes, kind of. But whatever. He says the Dalai Lama. So that's I don't know if that's our second reference to Buddhism, because maybe Chevy Chase already referenced it earlier.
Yeah, the way or the Tao or the force, kind of sort of this life force.
Yeah, he'll get he'll give a more explicit reference later. But okay. Oh, okay. Also, earlier, when Ty, Chevy Chase's character, hits a golf ball, Danny hits a golf ball when he's blindfolded. Can we go back to that scene real quick? Danny hits the golf ball when he's blindfolded with Chevy Chase, and it goes into the construction site, but they call it the lumber yard. So he hits the golf ball into the lumber yard, and he says, Chevy Chase's character, Ty, says, I own a couple lumber yards. And then jokingly later, when they don't know where the ball went, he says, I think it went into the lumber yard, like one of my lumber yards that I don't know where it is. Then the scene immediately switches to, watch out, it's playing. Watch out.
Yeah, and I was trying to get the part where he says it right in the lumber yard. It's okay.
Right in the lumber yard. And then it immediately switches to, do you know what I just saw? A gopher. Lumberyard, gopher. Lumberyard, gopher. It's like in one Mississippi. You have lumberyard. Then he says, do you know what I saw? A gopher. I don't know. Have I been looking into gopher wood too much? Am I seeing gopher wood everywhere?
Yeah.
Or is that a potential reference to gopher wood? Okay. Gopher, lumberyard. All right. Yeah, thank you. So back to this scene, he's talking about the Dalai Lama, and that's maybe our first maybe second, but our first concrete reference to Buddhism in the movie, which is going to be important later on. You'll see. So he's telling him this story, and he says, the Dalai Lama tells him, he says, the Dalai Lama stiffed me. He wasn't going to tip me, right? He wasn't going to tip me. Like, what the hell? The Dalai Lama, you know? He's going to stiff me. And then the Dalai Lama tells him, there won't be any money, but when you die on your deathbed, you will receive total consciousness. And then he says, and he's like all puffed up about it. He's like, yeah, so I've got that going for me, you know? And yeah, okay. We can skip past this a little bit. We're introduced to some of the other caddies and just like some senile old people who are just going around playing golf, quite literally going through the motions, but not even playing, not even there, right? You see that all the time.
Coca-Cola.
We've got Coca-Cola. They're spending all their money on Coca-Cola, which is somewhat relevant to my channel. They have a fight, whatever. And then he tells him about this scholarship, that if he's a good caddy, he can get a scholarship into college. So that's also kind of a storyline throughout the movie, is that Danny, the main character, needs to get this scholarship in order to get to college because he can't afford college. So, yeah, we go into the country club. Here, we got some tips. Keep going a little bit. On, please. Is this a member for you or for me?
That was a member for me. Shout out to Ro.
Shout out Rule. Hell yeah. Van Norris, is that for you?
That's for
me.
you.
Van
Pizza
Norris,
fun, bro.
with the $20, a golf flag pin mounted on an ARC t-shirt. Pre-order down payment, bro. Okay.
There you go.
That's a good idea, Van. Appreciate it, man. All right, so here, kind of one of the head honchos around the country club is this.
Give me Trump vibes, huh?
Yeah, yes and no. The guy who's calling the shots at the club, I don't know what his role there is, or if he's just one of the wealthiest people, has the most status. He is treating the black employee very poorly. Okay. Now it's a fact. And then the next scene, you have a Jewish guest coming into the country club. Now, today, most people like to think of Florida as like a very Jewish area, you know, South Florida especially. Lots and lots of Jews in country clubs. Well, I don't know when this is set, but I guess in the 80s, it was that way. It's always been that way. You know, it has been that way for about 100 years. Lots of Jews in country clubs. But up until the 80s, it's a fact that many country clubs could choose whether they wanted to admit Jews and black people or not. In fact, I valeted cars at a country club in Boca Raton that was not admitting black people as recently as like 2005.
Not a good look, Longo.
I was a valet, and when I was there, they hired and admitted everyone. But they were known for only, you know, kind of what do you call it? When the races are split up?
Segregated?
Yeah, they only desegregated in 2005. A country club in Boca Raton. And this is a country club in Boca Raton, so they're kind of making a joke at that they treat the black people poorly. And at certain country clubs, they kept Jewish people away. They really didn't want Jewish people there. Now, we don't condone that whatsoever, but it's a reality of Florida history.
Mm.
And they're kind of making a joke about this. And there was a lot of Jewish people involved with the creation of this movie. So it's kind of like an inside joke. They're in on the joke, but still. All right. So now we're introduced to another notable character who is Al Czervik. Al how do they? Whatever, I forget his name. Al Czervik.
Also, he said he built that place, so I think he also did the construction for it. Because at one point they're arguing. He's like, "I'm going to call the police or something along those lines." He's like, "Go ahead and call him. I know the code, the person, the fire marshal or something. I built this place." So he's like boasting about that.
Mm-hmm. Czervik. Yeah, Czervik. Al Czervik. Like cervix. Okay, yeah. Al Czervik. So we have a Jewish guest coming into the club. This is what interested me a lot. A Jewish guest comes in. He's dressed almost like a clown. he's kind of caricaturing himself as like what they viewed Jewish outsiders like in a place like this. So he comes in like a red clown car. He comes in dressed like a clown. He's like the loudest person that's ever been there. He wants to buy everything that he sees. He's got tons of money. He's tipping a lot, which is kind of ironic. But
throwing money out.
And then also he has a Asian gentleman accompanying him. It's also not known for sure whether his character was meant to be gay. He makes a lot of jokes about that. Now, like Juan said, he's a real estate developer, and the construction site next to the club is his development company, construction company. And then he talks about building things around town, building, like the firehouse or whatever, things like that. And so Al Czervik is getting on the judge's nerves. And remember, the judge is the real antagonist. The judge is kind of the bad guy, him and the gopher. But the judge is fuming. He hates Al Czervik, wants him gone, can't stand him. Right, but okay, here. Al is somewhat influenced, somewhat inspired by Addison Meisner, who was not Jewish, or at least never admitted to being Jewish, was often accused of being Jewish, but he's the guy who built most of Palm Beach County, Florida, and much of Dade County. But he's the main architect responsible for creating the distinctive Palm Beach County look, the Spanish colonial Mediterranean revival architecture that Southeast Florida is famous for. Largely comes from this guy named Addison Meisner. Can you look up Addison Meisner, please, Juan? His
It's
Wikipedia.
a swinger guy,
right? Kind of. He was believed to be gay. He was accused of being Jewish because they wanted to keep him out of clubs and stuff like that. But he built much of Southeast Florida. He built a lot of Palm Beach County, Florida. And this movie's filmed in the Boca Raton Country Club. Let's see, Meisner. I got to double check this. I believe Meisner built the Boca Raton Country Club.
See if they have it on here. You usually have it at the bottom of what he built.
Boca Raton Hotel.
Yeah, Boca Raton Development.
Well, he built Boca Raton. He's the guy who developed Boca Raton. So maybe he didn't do the buildings that they were in Boca Raton Resort. Yeah, originally designed and built by Boca Raton city planner, architect Addison Meisner. Okay. Addison Meisner, he intended for Boca Raton's main drive to be like 20 lanes wide, like 10 lanes in either direction. He wanted it to be like a megalopolis, like
A Utopia.
something like that, almost. But Meisner, he wasn't Jewish. Like I said, he was often accused of being it. He was overweight. He was kind of loud and obnoxious, bombastic, and got on people's nerves. He was infamous for not paying people back. So a lot of people slandered him and stuff, or, try to get back at him in the press. But Al Czervik is in part inspired by Addison Meisner. And Addison Meisner was, it's all, also not known for sure, but most people agree that Addison Meisner was gay. And he also kind of brought that and inspired like that Palm Beach County waspy, bisexual kind of culture that, yes, the pineapples, the upside down pineapples at Palm Beach Island, almost everyone in Palm Beach Island is like a little fruity, if you know what I mean.
I think the Asian guy's name is Wang, right?
Yeah, so he has this guy who's with him, and his name is Mr. Wang, and he cracks jokes about Wang. He's cracking jokes about other guys. He's cracking a lot of gay jokes, which is funny. But this is what's interesting, is he turns to Mr. Wang, his Chinese, I'm assuming Chinese or Vietnamese guest, and Al's a guest at the club. And he says, Mr. Wang, telling his friend, I think they are pretty strict at this place. Don't tell them you're Jewish. So he's saying to the Asian guy, don't tell them you're Jewish. And that's kind of like a joke, but it's also a subtle reference to the Chinese Jews, the Jews of China. Juan, can you look that up? Chinese Jews, please.
I want to add that Meisner, as a young man, he visited China in 1893.
Good point.
You said Chinese Jews, the Kaifeng Jews?
Yeah, just search Jews of China. They have their own Wikipedia. History of the Jews in China, Wikipedia.
Oh. There we go. Can you see that?
Yeah, he says, looks to Mr. Wang, he says, don't tell them that you're Jewish. And I'm like, Mr. Wang's Jewish? Or, he's joking that he is? Because obviously Rodney Dangerfield, the guy who's playing Al Czervik, is Jewish himself. So he's not saying that, but he's also cracking a joke about his friend. It made me think, and I forget if he was Japanese or Chinese or what, but there is a rich history of Judaism in East Asia. The history of the Jews in China goes back to ancient times. Modern-day Jews in China are predominantly composed of Sephardic Jews and their descendants. Other Jewish ethnic divisions are also represented, including Ashkenazi Jews, Mizrahi Jews, and a number of converts. Scroll down a little bit. Or here, sorry. Though a small minority, Chinese Jews have had an open presence in the country since the arrival of the first Jewish immigrants during the 8th century CE. AD. Relatively isolated communities of Jews developed throughout the Han and Song dynasties, 7th, 13th centuries BC, AD, all the way through the Qing dynasty. Most notably the Kaifeng Jews. The term Chinese Jews is often used in a restricted sense. Blah, 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 blah. All right, go down. Let's see a picture of one. So, guys, whenever you see like a picture of the Jews, a Chinese guy with like a braid, like a long braid on his forehead, that's in part a Jewish thing. like the locks, you know, the braids, the locks that Jews have. Jews in China would do a scalp lock at the top of their head.
Interesting. It's the first time. This one right here, like that.
Yeah. So instead of doing like the normal, what are they called? I forget what they call it.
But he said tiger is a chi grow. Somebody was saying that there's more Jews in China than there is in New York and somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. Man, I'm forgetting what they call these.
Israel and New York, I think he's.
Peyote. The peyote. Instead of doing the peyote, the side locks, they do scalp lock. The Chinese Jews would do. So there's a whole thing to this, and that, you know, these are largely who controlled the Silk Road too. I don't know if they'll say that in the
We keep idea.
Yeah. But okay. So Chinese Jews, a real thing. Yes, a funny joke, but there's a double meaning kind of backstory to it. Jews in Japan. I don't know how many Jews in Japan there are. Let's see about that. History of the Jews in Japan. There's a history. Okay.
Around
Jewish travelers entered Japan as early as the 1700s. Yeah.
1,000 to 2,500. That was in 2022. 2,000 to 4,000.
Yeah. So either way, if he's Chinese, if he's Japanese, there is such a thing.
Yeah.
As Asian Jews. Okay. Well, he's cracking jokes, and then the judge gets enraged. Oh, well, also, this is interesting. He's saying, oh, all this stuff. I want to buy that. I want to buy this. I want to buy that. He sees a package of orange balls, and he says, I want those orange balls. Okay. Orange equals 33 in Pythagorean Freemason, in Pythagorean numerology. Orange is the principal color of Buddhism. Orange, right? And then also orange is, has a lot of different, you could say, esoteric meanings. Orange. But he wants the orange balls. Maybe symbolic, maybe not. Maybe it has nothing to do with anything. But let's talk about the golf ball for a little sec. Did you guys know that golf balls have a lot to do with East Asia, Southeast Asia? Well, the original golf ball was made out of cowhide and feathers. Then the new golf ball, the next golf ball, was made by, what do they call this? Gutta percha. Thank you. Gutta percha. So the gutty. They call it a gutty. The newer developed golf ball was made out of a unique material from India. And guess what, guys? This is a real story. Everyone can go look this up. This new updated golf ball, the gutty, became a thing because when England went and took over India, they started sending things back, right? And this guy, this one family, sent a statue of the god Vishnu. Look this up, Juan. Vishnu statue golf ball. Should bring it up. The golf ball as we know it today, or at least one iteration, came from a statue of the god Vishnu, the Hindu god Vishnu, one of the principal deities of Hinduism, Vishnu, right? And I think the second largest branch or the first or second, I forget, dedicated to Vishnu. So this statue of Vishnu got shipped from India over to England, I believe. And there was either a piece of packaging or a piece of protective like material, almost like a 300-year-old popcorn padding, for packaging. Like they put this extra material in there to protect the statue in transit. And that little padding was made out of this material, gutta percha. And that's he noticed this padding, this extra material in the package. Actually, I should say this. Some people say it was the statue itself was made out of this material and that a piece of the statue had chipped off. I just watched a documentary earlier that said a piece of the statue chipped off. So a piece of Vishnu, the statue, the holy god in statue form, chipped off. They turned that chipped off piece that was this gutta percha, kind of like a rubbery, bouncy, but a hard, plasticky kind of material. They did that with, Vishnu statue. Chipped off piece. Some people say that it was just the extra packaging, the extra kind of buffer.
Protected by the shavings of the gutta percha is what it says there.
Yeah. But they took that material, the gutta percha, from the shipment and made it into a ball. And that ball was perfect for the job. Gutta percha. Okay. Now the ball stayed in that form for a long, long time. But hey, Buddhism, guys, Buddhism as we know it, came out of Hinduism. So there's all these references to Buddhism in the movie, Asian characters, and then we have this coming out of Hinduism, the golf ball. Who would have thought about that, guys? Also, there's a parent golf club in ancient Chinese art. Gods holding golf clubs and playing this golf game, right? Well, then also the ancient Egyptian gods seem to all have golf clubs in their hands, right? You guys have seen this. They have like scepters or staffs that look like golf clubs. So many of them look like golf clubs. So you got golf clubs. You've got here, the new golf ball. This one was interesting too. Just real quick before we get back to the movie. The new golf ball. Do you know how many divots, indents the new standardized golf ball has, Juan?
No. Many dents.
It's either 333, 336, or 366.
Dimples, yeah. The average 336 dimples.
Yeah.
Depends on the ball.
You can keyword different numbers, but either 333, 336, or 366. You see that? You see the 303 right there? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let me break it down. That's 333 plus 3, 336, or it's 333 plus 33, which is 366. That is the average standardized number of the range of golf ball, the number of divots in a golf ball, dimples. 333 or 336 or 366. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Now, I don't know if we went deep enough into this yet, but golf, a lot of people say, oh, golf was created by Freemasons. And that's kind of true. It's kind of wrong, because Freemasonry comes hundreds of years after golf was invented. So the real way to say this is, was Freemasonry invented by golfers? And the answer is yes. The answer is clearly yes. Juan, I sent you some links. Could we look into those on the private chat about golf and Freemasonry? Thank you. Cool. Can we zoom in on this paragraph, please?
Also, they invented baseball too, right? And the whole diamond and everything. And usually these are sports that involve the greenery. You have the green in baseball, the green in golf, the green in tennis as well. There's a lot of green in that.
Yeah. Can you zoom in a little more, please? I'm going to try and read it off. Thank you. Though it may be a slight exaggeration to say that the speculative Freemasons invented the golf club, being a Mason or Burgess or equivalent was certainly a condition of some of the earliest known clubs in Scotland and England. Even today, very few golf clubs in the world do not have status as an entry criteria, if only financial. Until 1789, the Royal Blackheath Golf Club was open only to Freemasons, and for a generation afterwards, there were a clique of Masons called the Knuckle Club, who played out of season on Blackheath to avoid the non-Mason members. They continued as golfers only in 1825 and disbanded in 1844. Their minutes and medals are now part of Royal Blackheath Golf Club. The Grand Master Mason of Scotland, William St. Clair, was captain of both the Leith, I don't know how to say it, Golfers, Honorable Company, and St. Andrew's Golfers, RNA, 4 times in the 18th century. He also laid the foundation stone for the clubhouse at Leith in 1768 in the presence of, quote, all Masons. Alexander McDougall, elected secretary of gentlemen golfers at Leith in 1764, was the Grand Secretary of the Grand Lodge of Scotland. There is less evidence for any Masonic origins of the Royal Burgess or the Brunsfield Links golfing societies. Blah, blah, blah. You guys get the point. Okay, golf clubs, country club, CC, right? What about the other link that I sent? Okay, here. The main reason that the members of early golf clubs were Freemasons was basically because in the century after 1717, virtually all middle-class men of ability in Scotland were Freemasons, from senior law officers to skilled artisans, as well as poets and writers. Yeah. This was because from 1717... Oh, that's all right.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad.
That's
I think
okay.
you were talking.
This was because from 1717, the Scottish stonemason, Freemasons, called operative Masons, apparently began to allow merchants and professional people, termed speculative Masons, to join lodges or create their own. This practice spread elsewhere in the world. For example, in France, Voltaire and Napoleon's mistress, Josephine. Wait, what? In France, Voltaire and Napoleon's mistress, Josephine, were Masons, as were the luminaries of the American Revolution, including George Washington, who was buried with full Masonic honors. Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, so you guys get the point. Okay, there's a rich history linking Scotland, Freemasonry, and golf. Okay. Okay, also, Arnold Palmer. Thank you, Juan. Yeah. I sent this link to Juan earlier. Arnold Palmer, widely regarded as the most famous golfer ever, right? Maybe tied with Tiger Woods now, or Jack Nicklaus is up there too. But here, Willie Gilbert, new member. Willie Gilbert became a YouTube member. Appreciate that, Willie. Alchemical Main Street Adventures with the 1999. Hey boy, Treatinga from Hotlanta. Treatings from Hotlanta. Spark one on me. Doctor's orders. Appreciate it, man. Or appreciate it. All right, for more than 50 years. What is that?
It's like
ill. Let's say ill. For more than 50 years, brother Arnold, or third degree. I think that's what it means. I don't know. For more than 50 years, brother Arnold Palmer, 33rd degree, was a leading man within the world of professional golf. His dominant reign during the 1950s and 60s propelled him to star status. He remains fifth on the PGA Tour's winners list and was one of the World Golf Hall of Fame's 13 original inductees. As a player, Palmer's impact went beyond championships won and titles earned. One of the game's first ever TV stars, he forever altered the culture of the game with his plain-spoken demeanor, expanding it beyond the greens of upper-class resorts and making it accessible to the common man. Okay,
he
so
was a hero.
one of golf's biggest heroes, biggest figures, was a Freemason. Arnold Palmer was a philanthropist, Freemason, businessman, and influential golf career spanned over 50 years. Let's see, was Jack Nicklaus a Freemason? Can you look that up? Click on him. Yeah, they have him highlighted. Come on.
I got it, bro.
We got to find it. I know that his son is on the Florida Wildlife Commission.
Masonic athletes, it says here, Nicholas.
He was a Mason?
I don't know.
Is
golf
Nicholas
along, the big three. This is on a Freemasonic site. Not sure if he's actually a Mason or not.
No, I don't think he was. No evidence that Jack Nicklaus was a Freemason. But
no, it doesn't look like it.
yeah.
Illustrious brothers, I think what that thing at the front was. Illustrious bro.
You're right.
So
okay, so we've got Arnold Palmer, confirmed Freemason. Tea and lemonade, guys. Freemasonic brew. Guys, keep an eye out on those Arnie Palmies. Oh, Master Mason. Look at that. So
and it's
Arnold,
interesting that he's next to Bush here because he kind of looks like Bush in this picture.
He does, yeah.
If you look at him, right? And then here he is with Bush teaching him a couple strokes or whatever they call it. I don't know what they call it.
Yeah. So here, let's get on with the movie.
Enough talking about balls.
Yeah. Guys, who knew that though? Okay, the golf ball came out of, damn dude, we're not even a quarter way through the movie.
Nope.
All right. That's
It's fine though. Well, we get ping for this lady's tits on here.
Yeah,
it's coming up.
Jump around them. Yeah, the movie's funny. There's a lot of joke. No, her nips are fine. The nipples are fine.
You sure? All right.
Anyways, through the shirt's okay.
There are some bare titties though coming up, like full on bare. So
yeah, so Danny's trying to get in close with the judge, trying to, like Juan was saying, you could look at this as like a comment on society, right? Like America is like the Protestant golfing community, white Anglo golfing community.
Somebody said,
judge kissing the ass. Go ahead.
In the chat, somebody had said that like 80% of deals are closed on the golf course. And like I've been told that before, learn to play golf because usually all the people who are higher ups in these companies, corporate America, they like golf. So you go out there, you take them out and you conduct business. I mean, Trump is a big golf player.
Yeah.
And anyone in the business, I mean, it's known as like a wealthy sport, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, He's trying to get in with him and trying to get the scholarship that he's trying to do to be able to pay through college.
Yeah, and he's trying to bribe the judge pretty much, or like sucker up to the judge. And you see how morally kind of corrupt the judge is too in this movie. And you're like, oh, well, if he's the judge, what does that say about Boca Raton or South Florida? And all right, well, Bill Murray's trying to get rid of the Gophers. But yeah, let's keep zooming along here. You can see his development in the background. We meet Danny's girlfriend. He also has a Scottish girlfriend. I guess his girlfriend is like the daughter of the greenskeeper or something. But he's got a Scottish or Irish girlfriend.
And like Bill Murray's character, and it's interesting, right? Because he did Groundhog Day, didn't he?
Yeah.
Where a groundhog and a gopher, I mean, they're not the same thing, but kind of animals that exist underground. The groundhog has this sort of supernatural ability to. I don't think I've ever seen Groundhog's Day, but isn't that where the day repeats over and over again? Is that what the movie's about?
Yes.
So he's stuck in this loop.
Yeah. Also, he compares groundhogs to the Viet Cong. He says they're like the Asian, fighters from the Vietnam War, the Viet Cong. And so that's our third or fourth concrete reference to Buddhism or Buddhist countries. Okay, so we've got Vietnam. Also, Ty Webb is he's like a phenom. Okay, he can play golf like a genius. He's connected to this, like the golf gods. This Ty Webb guy. Juan and I were talking before we went live. It's almost like he's setting the stage or predicting his character is almost like a premonition of Tiger Woods. Ty Webb. He's into Buddhism. We're talking about Vietnam in the movie. Tiger Woods is part Vietnamese. And the word tiger is said in the movie.
He's from Thailand.
He says, now I know why. Yeah, in this scene, I think he says, now I know why tigers eat their young. Right. So we got a Vietnam reference and Ty Webb, who's super good at golf. Thai. Also, Thai, Southeast Asia. Thailand, Taiwan. Ty Webb.
Tiger Woods' dad served in the Vietnam War, though. He was a retired U.S. Army officer and Vietnam War veteran, but his mom was from Thailand. So there's another maybe hint.
Oh, his mom's from Thailand. Wow. Ty
Yeah.
Webb, Ty, Tiger. Damn. TW, Tiger Woods, Ty Webb. And Tiger Woods was born in 1975.
His mom's nickname is Tida.
Ooh.
Or Tida. Clotilda Tida Woods. And his dad's name is Earl. And she died actually last month. So we found that interesting.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So we're at a banquet dinner at the country club.
You want to talk about the wife?
No, not yet. He cracks a joke. He insults the chef.
Called it dog food, right?
Yeah, he called it dog food. And then the judge talks about golf coming from Scotland briefly. So I guess we already talked about that. Freemasonry in Scotland. But also he talks about it being golf, not golf, how they leave out the L. So he did mention that. But okay. Yeah, zoom past this a little bit.
Still hunting. His whole purpose in the movie was to hunt the damn gopher. Here we go.
Okay, so she's trying to seduce Ty Webb. She's the granddaughter of the judge. And this is something that's going to come up in the movie, is that the judge's granddaughter, who's smoking
Is
hot,
a whore.
is a hoe, and she's trying to bang everyone. She bangs Ty Webb, and then later in the movie, she bangs Danny, who's like 18 or under, maybe even less than 18. And she's letting all the caddies kind of, give a go at her yeah, like he's not the only caddy that she kind of flirts with. And towards the end of the movie, you start to question, is that like her function in the family, right? Because the grandfather doesn't really do anything to correct that behavior. He acts like he's angry, but it actually brings him in closer with these people that he wants access to. She goes and sleeps with them. Now he can go and admonish them for sleeping with her, but he has an excuse to talk to them and like have something over them, a little bit of almost blackmail,
Well, when he catches the character with her, Danny, he tells him like, I can't have anyone talking about her behavior outside of here. And that's where he kind of locks in the deal with him of like, hey, if you keep your mouth shut, then we can work out this deal of getting you funded for the scholarship or whatever. So he's kind of, like you're saying, this blackmail sort of thing. You're looking 2D, just laugh. Yeah, we might be just making all this up. I mean,
yeah, except the producer who made the movie died under mysterious circumstances at the age of 33. So
maybe
also, all right, keep going. Night putting. Oh, he says this guy's name was Mitch Cumstein, which was pretty funny.
But look at this, making $6 million man noise. He's barefoot. Oh yeah, it was Cumstein. That was his cousin's name or something.
Yeah, he pretended it was his cousin. He came up with the fake name Mitch Cumstein, which I should have called myself. Should have named myself.
Yeah, that was a good one. I laughed
for
at
this.
that one.
But all right, Danny wins the caddy golf tournament, which is going to help him get into college. And then, yes, there is a 6 million reference, like Juan said.
Hold on, me
subtle.
Start off.
Yeah, we got to skip past this a little bit, because there's a pair of teats.
Not in this one, but in the pool scene. There's the pool scene with the fake turd. There are some titties in there, so I got to pass that.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go.
We got 600 in the chat, people. Thanks for being here, y'all. We're talking about Caddyshack tonight. Comedy movie. Lots of people know this movie. Seems lighthearted, seems kind of topical and goofy, but it actually has a lot behind it, especially being a Florida movie. All the country club lore. Also, we didn't talk about this. Country clubs, golf clubs, largely built on top of Indian mounds. Golf courses are built on Indian mounds. In Florida, when they were developing areas, they'd have Indian mounds, and they'd say, okay, that's where the golf course is going to be, because it's already hilly, and the flat area, we're going to put the houses on. And there's signs in Palm Beach Island telling you some of the biggest, nicest houses on the island, some of the country clubs, some of this and that, built on top of Indian mounds. They tell you. Palm Beach Island. And then there's the Pompano, I think it's Pompano. No, Plantation Community Golf Course, or Plantation Municipal Golf Course. Plantation Public Golf Course, South Florida. Built on an Indian mound. They had to close down an entire hole and make it a park in order to stay open. right? And you can go take a walk through the golf course down one hole during business hours. While everyone's playing around you, you can take a walk down there. Then there's Jekyll Island, Georgia, where the Federal Reserve was founded, or at least conceived. They have an Indian Mound golf course. There's Indian Mound Country Club, Indian Mound Golf Course, all across America. Places called Indian Mound golf courses with Indian mounds on them. It's all. Juan, can we look up a little bit?
What do you want me to Google? Yeah, somebody's talking about they let the employees in the pool for 15 minutes and they already had to drain it and sanitize it. Again, to this idea of like the lower class is dirty.
Yeah.
These people are scum, and they shit in the pool. What do you want me to pull up?
It was actually a candy bar, is the joke. Yeah. Mound Builders Country Club in Newark. I got it. You don't have to look it up. I found a list. There's Mound Builders Country Club in Newark, Ohio, known for its earthworks. There is Indian Mound Course in Jekyll Island. Right. There is Indian Mounds Golf Course in Fairmont City, Illinois. And then there's Indian Mound Golf Club in New Hampshire. You know, I'd wager half of the states in America have an Indian Mound golf course of some sort. This is a real thing, guys. It's not just a Florida thing. What's there to say about a game that is particular to like the upper echelons of society, where you're trampling on the burial grounds of a previous culture?
Oof.
Where the ball's dropping down like into the burial site. When, all these business deals are being made, things like that.
Imagine the ones operating right now that were mounds or places of burial that were never exposed as that, right?
Mhm.
And they knowingly built there, because usually when you encounter some sort of artifact or something, it's a legal headache. Even that Brickell site that they were building, they kind of hurried up. They took everything out they had to. There was even like utility lines running through corpses underground as they were putting these underground utility lines.
Mhm.
So, yeah, that says a lot, though. I mean, the harnessing of energy, the harnessing of power, and the fact that these elites, quote unquote, are the ones that that play at these places. Jekyll Island, out of all places, huh?
Yep, Jekyll Island has an Indian mound. This one's New Hampshire, I believe, or Illinois. There's Newark.
Whoa,
Yep, earthworks, mounds on golf courses.
that's
Guys.
wild, dude.
Yep.
That's crazy. So essentially, you could look at, if we want to get into the biblical connection, you have Tubal Cain, which is supposed to be this blacksmith, right, of all things metal. And what is golf played with metal sticks and balls, right? The Tubal Cain. I'm trying to pull up here the Tubal Cain, and if you look at he was the title, an instructor of every craftsman in bronze and iron. I mean, that's a straight up Freemasonic connection there. Bronze and iron, you have iron clubs. And if you look at the Tubal Cain emblem, like the Tubal Cain, it looks a lot like, it looks a lot like a golf club with two balls.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, no, you're 100% right. Yeah. Like a hockey
as well.
Hockey stick almost. Golf club, same thing. But also, How many holes are there in golf? 18. 6 plus 6 plus 6.
Hold on,
18.
Illuminati confirmed.
100%, bro. 666.
All right, let's keep running through the movie.
All right, let's do it. All right, so we have the pool scene here.
He eats the caca.
He's always played such like gross characters, right? He did
Yeah.
that movie Osmosis Jones. Have you ever seen that movie? Where they like follow like this germ inside his body.
Yes,
And
yes. Yeah, he's disgusting. He was
He's
perfect for that role.
disgusting. Yes.
He's the
yes, and-
greasiest person ever.
yes.
Just
So then-
greasy and grimy.
We have here her pulling up to Ty Webb's place, where obviously they do the do. They get in the
It's-
pool.
But his house is all Buddhist themed. East
Yeah.
Asia, Zen, Buddhism themed.
He talks about acupuncture too. He like goes to put something in her back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he talks about acupuncture. Okay. And then later in the movie, we find out that she is a palm reader.
Oh yeah.
She's a palm reader. You find that out later in the movie. So
Look at this. Look at this. Your uncle molests collies.
Yeah.
So there's like again another weird connection to maybe perhaps these caddies not only serving as their servants, but also servicing some other balls, if you will, right?
Mhm.
You know, within this area that they're in. So
Right.
all right, let me take this down real quick. Continue here. They do the do. She seduces him, whatever. And then they get into the pool naked. And the rest is history. She looks kind of young too.
The skinny dip, yeah. She's a granddaughter. We don't know if she's high school or younger. But here, painting John Supp with the $10. Appreciate it, John Supp. John said, painting of Andrew Turnbull with his hand on top of weird skull. Huh. I don't know if I've seen that one. Let me look it up.
Who the hell's Andrew Turnbull right here? This guy? The origins of New Smyrna Beach.
Oh, whoa.
Whoa,
Dude, what the hell? How have I never noticed this? What the hell? Damn, John Supp. Thank you, dude. I've looked at that portrait dozens of times. Never noticed the skull. What does that mean?
The skull's probably got some sort of, it might have belonged to a Native American or somebody else, bro. This guy was,
I'm looking it up. Hand on skull portrait meaning. In art, a hand holding a skull, often a memento mori or a vanitas painting, symbolizes the inevitability of death and the transience of life, serving as a reminder of mortality for both the subject and the viewer. Yeah, but who does it? Like, why?
was he a Mason? Was he anything? Andrew Turnbull?
He probably was, because as we saw, most respectable men in the 18th century were Freemasons in America. In Scotland.
Scottish physician established New Smyrna colony in 1768.
Yeah.
I think members of St. Andrew's Lodge in Pensacola.
He was?
Looks like it here. I'm pulling this up. So, historic city memories, the square and compass. Let's see here. Yeah, thus lodges were formed in both St. Augustine and Pensacola, as noted by Charles A. Gall, the Scottish View of West Florida in 1769. The journal, Tequesta, the Journal of the Historical Association of Southern Florida. In addition to Governor Grant, members of East Florida Masonic Lodge in St. Augustine included the Royal Superintendent of Indian Affairs, John Stewart, the Reverend John Forbes, Lieutenant Governor James Tree, and Dr. Andrew Turnbull.
So he was a Freemason.
Yep.
Wow.
So
Can we look at this?
put that in your pipe and smoke that. There, Dr. Andrew Turnbull.
Hell yeah. Crazy.
Oh, so there you go. Hit him with a
Illuminati confirmed.
Oh,
Damn, I'm gonna have to update my videos on him now.
oh, you did a video on him?
Yeah. Yeah, my hidden Greek history of Florida and ancient America video.
Oh, you learn something new every day, bro. All right, so we got the boat scene here, bro. The yacht club. You have the hippies.
Yeah, Dr. Longo lookalike scene, guys. Don't know if you saw it. They're smoking weed, and there's a hippie there who kind of looks like me a little bit.
This guy right here?
Yeah. I don't really think so, but had to say it before someone else did.
Want to talk about the lady right here? This is the scene.
Yeah, she makes a weird comment. She says, "Come along, children. You can shake your booties down on the dock." It's like weird because in the next scene, her granddaughter seduces one of the caddies. Seduces Danny, the main character. All right, let's move it along.
There you go. This is the palm reading scene where she reads the palm of this guy here.
Yeah.
And then she gets weird with it.
Oh, yeah, Al Czervik takes over the starts driving his boat around, causes a lot of damage, drops his anchor through the judge's boat. Watch out for the titties.
For the titties, bro. Got them titties out. Titties out for old world Florida. Yeah, there they go. All right, let me skip through all this. This is the part where he catches him with the granddaughter in the room and tells him like, yo, we can't be telling anybody about this. He's in his tidy whities. The wife sees him, kind of gives him a look. Chaos ensues. Let me make sure we're past all this. All right, I think we're good. No more titties, I don't think.
Oh yeah, so then we're introduced to the Reverend. He's a Protestant pastor who hates Catholics, and he laughs at jokes about Catholics, blacks, and Jews not making it to heaven. He's like a bad. Him and the judge are like best friends. So you got the judge and the preacher of Boca Raton. They're like corrupt and like, you're supposed to kind of despise them. But he is dead set on golfing. There's bad weather, but he's on like this God trip, kind of like, oh, God will provide and God will keep our way. And he gets Bill Murray to caddy for him, even though Bill Murray is not a caddy. So it starts raining while he's golfing, and he's saying all this,
This is the best game of golf I've ever played.
Yeah.
Dear God's not going to mess it up for me.
Yeah, he's saying all this stuff, and he's getting like
you must have made a deal with the devil.
He has like this hubris, right? He's like, God's on my side, and God brought me here, and nothing's gonna get in my way, and not even God's gonna prevent me from winning, right? And then he says, but he's doing really good in this game. Bill Murray says, "Nice shot, Bishop. You must have made a deal with the devil." Right? But then they keep playing. The weather gets worse. And he says, even God can't stop me from winning this game or whatever. And then he gets struck by lightning. Or he misses a shot and he curses at God. He says, "Oh, screw you, God. What the hell? Why'd I lose that shot?" And then he is struck down by the hand of God, struck dead by lightning. Okay. And Bill Murray just leaves him. But I thought that was funny. And there is one scene here. Oh, also we skipped past Chevy Chase's character. Ty Webb starts talking about the Zen master Basho. Now, Basho is a Japanese Buddhist poet, philosopher, poet. Basho. And Chevy Chase brings him up and misattributes a quote or messes up a quote from him on purpose to make a joke, right? And he says, whatever. So he brings up this Basho guy. I'm like, okay, where's this Basho guy from? He's Japanese. Okay, so now we've got our 5th, 6th, 7th, I don't know, concrete reference to an East Asian country or a Buddhist country or Buddhism itself. Well, now we need to look into the Yamato colony in Boca Raton. Boca Raton's famous for a couple things. Number one, it's the depending on what metric you use, it's the most Jewish place in America, most Jewish city in America. Another thing it's famous for is IBM computer. IBM came out, was largely created. The personal computer, as we know it, was largely created, popularized out of Boca Raton, Florida. IBM was headquartered in Boca Raton during the heyday of the personal computer. What else is Boca Raton famous for? It's kind of like a mini Hollywood. There's a lot of movie stars and stuff who live here, retired sports players, retired musicians, retired movie stars. You know, it's like Hollywood without the paparazzi. And actually, I think paparazzi is illegal in Boca Raton. They have tons of unique laws and things like that. Yeah. So stars are very safe when they come to Boca Raton. What else is Boca Raton famous for? The Yamato colony. Or today, it's famous for the Murakami Museum. That's world famous, Murakami Museum.
They have a botanical garden too, don't they?
Yep. Now, the Murakami Museum is the last remnant of the Yamato colony that was in Boca Raton, Florida. And this was, I think it started in like 1903, 1900, around there. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Japanese moved to Florida, their families. They moved to be pineapple farmers in Boca Raton. And we still have Japanese road names to this day. And you'd never suspect that, you know, but they were here through World War II, right up until World War II, if not later. But yeah, can you scroll down a little bit, please? When did it end? 1970s. Yeah, he was there until the 1970s. So they were there through World War II. That must have been rough. But there was Japanese people in South Florida long before many of us were in South Florida, you know? So there was a big colony of Japanese in Boca Raton, Florida. Yamato Road is still there to this day. And
There it is right there.
One of my earliest girlfriends was part Japanese, and her family moved to the area just because of this history, because of the Murakami Museum.
Nice.
That's how I met her. Met my high school sweetheart here, kind of around here. She lived there. So Murakami Museum, that place is cool. This is crazy. I didn't plan on talking about this tonight. I've witnessed what me and my friends suspect is an Illuminati ritual
Illuminati confirmed.
at the Murakami Museum.
What?
I was trip sitting 2 friends who were on acid. I was not on acid. I was sober. Went to this place to like sneak in and walk around, see all the trippy Zen garden stuff. And my friend, whatever, they were hosting a private event at the museum, at the it's like a big, it's like a conference center. It's like a venue, you know, they have like an auditorium type thing, a restaurant, and then the museum's just part of it. The gardens are just part of it. You can rent this place out for events. And we went there one time. We snuck in and they were renting it out for an event. Right? Me and my 2 friends, David and Fletcher, was with my friend David yesterday. We stumbled into a gathering. Not a wedding, not a like celebration or typical celebration. There were two bleachers, 2 sets of bleachers filled with people, well-dressed people, many of them in robes at like 9:00 at night. There wasn't a single car in the parking lot, but there was hundreds of people at this museum in the backyard. There's like a big back lake and like patio space where like the restaurant is. And I saw that. We heard screams. We heard rumbles. It was like a bohemian. It reminded me, it was exactly like the little like Bohemian Grove footage where they're doing like a mock ceremony, but it's not like super scary. It's like kind of goofy.
It wasn't faggy. It was
just like that. Why do you have to say that?
Somebody said the Illuminati.
You wonder why you're demonetized.
Fuck YouTube.
You're not demonetized at all for Illuminati stuff. It's just because you say stuff like that.
Fuck about YouTube.
Shh! Don't get me. Don't rain on my parade.
You're good, bro. You're good.
You shot yourself in the foot.
That was a quote by, was it Reagan that said that? Somebody said that.
Yeah. I know.
I was just quoting him.
Okay. Well, we're gonna have to go to Rumble if you want to talk any more about that.
It's a bundle of sticks, bro.
So, yeah, where are we with the movie?
All right, he's telling him that his niece is, kind of she likes to seduce, and she has a certain type of character that this can't get out.
She has a zest for life.
Yeah, something like that. He's kind of shook. And then that's when he, I think, seals the deal of like getting the I'm your pal, blah, blah, blah. There he goes. Oh, there is no God. I wonder what they were talking about here.
Yeah, Al and the judge they have it out for each other.
Yeah.
They almost come to blows. And then Chevy Chase says, well, what about you guys play for it? Or they come up with the idea they're going to play a round of golf. Okay, also, this is pretty interesting. Well, they're going to play golf to settle this disagreement, and they're going to bet money on it. Okay? Now, that's against club rules, but they're going to do it anyway. The next scene, what's interesting, is it's so weird how it's filmed. We're given like no context or explanation. It seems like it's a dream. The next scene feels like a dream. Danny's girlfriend, I forget her name, Maggie. Danny's girlfriend, Maggie, is prancing around the golf course at night for some reason. Can you go back just a little bit, like 5 seconds, 10 seconds? Thank you.
Because she wasn't pregnant, that's what she said.
Yeah. There was a pregnancy scare, but we don't know where she's coming from. We don't know why they're outside in the middle of the night. She is just prancing on the golf course at night by herself in like a white gown. And then Danny is just sitting there with like his hands in his pocket, just like standing on the golf course. And the scene just picks up and we're given pretty much no explanation. They're just like, oh, I'm so happy to see you. Wow. Yeah. And we don't know if she's like drugged up because she just got an abortion or what. But all she says is, I'm not pregnant. She doesn't say like, I wasn't pregnant or, oh, it was a false positive or I got tested. She said that she was late before and now she says she's not pregnant. You could maybe infer that she had an abortion because she's like celebrating. She's like, whatever. And if you've ever
Dressed in all
seen,
white.
yeah, if you've ever seen Fast Times at Ridgemont High, that movie is pretty much an abortion commercial too, kind of almost. And this is kind of the same era. Whatever. Might have been an agenda behind the movie. I love Rodney Dangerfield, by the way. He's hilarious. But okay. They decide they're going to play for it. Let's keep going. Let's move.
That gopher again, bro.
Yeah. He's got C4. He's got plastic explosives now that he's going to use to kill the gopher. He's at wit's end, right? Oh, shit. Here we go. John Sup with another $10. Uh-oh, we got some coordinates on this one. 28 degrees north, 80 degrees west. Eye of Horus in the mangroves. Then 28 degrees north, 80 degrees west. Do you want to
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up now.
try and pull one of those up?
Yeah,
You think you can?
yeah.
That'd be cool. All right, give us a sec, John Sup. We're gonna see if we can do something about that.
What is this? Some pareidolia stuff?
Probably.
man. He said aqua glyphs. Here you go. Oh man. Bro, just send us a Google Maps link.
Yeah.
In India? Is that in India, bro? In the mangroves now. I can't pull this shit up, bro.
No, 28 north should be Florida.
No, it's not
28
pulling.
north, 80.
You want to try it? Because I'm trying.
Yeah, no. It's John Sup. I don't know if we can pull it up right now. Sorry, John Sup. I'm gonna eat that Hamilton. All right, keep going. One on the movie.
Got this weird
Also-
scene. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is a weird scene, and it's also worth noting that apparently during the filming of this movie, all the actors were smoking weed and doing coke. It's a well-known, fact. But then also, Bill Murray and Chevy Chase, they hated each other's guts during the filming of this movie. And apparently at one point they refused to be in the same room, and then they convinced them to do a scene together, and it'd be extra funny because they hated each other. But yeah.
Really? I didn't know
They
that
s-
part.
they
I know
stuck to-
that Bill Murray sued Caddyshack 2 because he owned the rights to the gopher puppet. I guess it was designed by him or something, and he owned the rights to it. And when they used it in the second movie, I believe, he ended up suing them for that because they used it without permission.
Right.
So it's probably like a little battle or something going on between them.
Also, I forget from a scene earlier when the Reverend goes out and dies on the golf course. Bill Murray is fantasizing about the Masters, Augusta, Georgia, the Masters tournament, right? Which they call the secret society of golf, by the way, to be admitted into the Masters. You either have to win the tournament or like be, you know, something. The Green Jacket Club when you win the Masters, right? Or to be admitted to the committee that decides things for the Masters, right? Very prestigious. Well, Bill Murray's fantasizing about the Masters, and then he takes this guy out to go golf, and then the guy dies on the course. Did you know that there was a guy who died on the Masters course?
What? Did he collapse suddenly?
Yeah. Clifford Roberts, the co-founder and chairman of Augusta National, died on the grounds of the course in 1977 from a self-inflicted gunshot wound near Ike's Pond on one of the holes. Now, what's interesting is Augusta
Whoa, dude.
Golf
He was
Course.
an investment dealer, so he was a banker and a golf administrator, Wall Street broker. That's interesting.
Yeah, here. Okay. Can you see my screen?
No, pull it up.
The
Yeah.
Augusta National Golf Club, specifically the area of the 12th hole, is said to have been built on an Indian burial ground, with Clifford Roberts, the guy who sushi-sided himself, committed suicide on the course. Yeah, that guy. With Clifford Roberts claiming in his book, The Story of Augusta National Golf Club, that an Indian burial mound was discovered during construction
Wow.
on hole 12. What hole? Oh, shouldn't search this. What-
Yeah, take your screen off.
What hole did Clifford?
On the banks of Ike's Pond.
Yeah, but which hole is that? Is that next to the 12th hole? We're gonna have to find.
Is that Augusta, Georgia? So it's on the par 3 courses, hole 8 and 9, play around Ike's Pond.
Yeah, okay, so not hole 12, but still, the guy who wrote about the Indian mound being discovered at Augusta golf course is the guy who committed suicide on the golf course.
It's a spring-fed pond too.
That jumped out to me. And the Reverend dying on the course kind of made me think of that because Bill Murray's fantasizing about going to the Masters, Augusta, Georgia, right before the scene where the guy dies on the course.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. A little bit of a stretch, but who knows?
It's fine. This is Old World Florida. We can do it.
Most flexible YouTube channel on the internet.
Doesn't he also talk about yoga at one point too? I think he mentions yoga when he's in the room with the chick.
Probably.
All right, so we got here towards the end where they're playing. Just some more gopher action. And then you got this guy setting up the explosives for the gopher.
Okay, yeah, we can skip through this. There's not much. Oh, here. You can search this later.
And also the fact that it's almost like a ceremony, right? The golf game, because everyone has to be quiet, right? Everyone has to be real quiet. I think they have signs that say quiet. They put it up while the guy's swinging. And in this movie, they were like talking while he was trying to take the shot, like trying to make a miss. Yeah, I think this is just the rest of the movie, bro.
Yeah, Danny helps win the tournament for them. The explosions knock the ball into the hole. The C4 goes off, trying to kill the Gophers all around the course. Danny wins. Keep going. A little bit more. Al Czervik has the judge beat up because he refuses to pay the bet. And all right, that's the end of the movie.
The Gophers dancing.
Yeah. Can you click on the link that I just sent you in the private chat, please? Can we pull that up for people to see?
The hell is this?
Chi Wan. Bang, 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 bang.
Oh, wow.
Chi Wan. All right, guys. Chi Wan. I don't know how to say this. Pinyin. I don't know. Chui Wan is a game in ancient China. Its rules resemble modern golf. The book Dong Wan, that's what they call me, Dong Wan, written by Sum Ting Wong, Wei Tu Lo, just kidding. Written by Wei Tai of the Song Dynasty, describes how a southern Tang official teaches his daughter how to dig holes in the ground and drive a ball into them. The game became popular by the Song Dynasty, and a work called Wan Jing of the Yuan Dynasty was specially devoted to it. The latest documents about Chui Wan in China are from the two paintings of the Ming Dynasty from the 15th century. There is a color image of the mural painting still preserved on the wall of a water god temple in Hongdong. Another nickname of mine. Shaanxi. Ling Honglin.
Be serious, bro.
Ling Honglin.
Come on, dude.
Hongdong Ling Honglin, China. A Chinese professor at Lanzhou University suggested that game was exported to Europe and then Scotland by Mongol travelers in the late Middle Ages. So, a little bit more to this whole East Asian Gulf connection with Boca Raton, Florida. The rules for Chui Wan are remarkably similar to that of golf, modern golf, in that players use restricted number of clubs, up to 10, 14 in golf. Holes are spread on terrains of varying difficulty and marked by colored flags, and there is also strict etiquette and rules with regard to player honesty and penalties for cheating. Chui Wan balls are of different sizes and made of wood. The tee-off areas are called ji. The popularity of Chui Wan peaked in the Song Dynasty, during which time Emperor Huizong is reported to have been a dedicated player, and it remained a favorite sport during the Yuan and Ming dynasties. Bruh, these names. They're single syllable, but they're just... In the Qing dynasty, the game of Chui Wan steadily declined, and it eventually became a casual game for women and children.
Interesting. I didn't know this. It says here, look, China says it's the true home of golf. The Irish Times.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of claim as to who actually created the game. A lot of debate.
Yeah. Chinese golfers, yo.
Somebody
wish-
said Ming Dynasty was Floridian too. Is that true?
No. But yeah, so you got the ancient Chinese golf game, and Ireland and Scotland. Yep, they played some stickball too. You know, they still play field hockey, or what do they call it? Curling to this day, or hurling. If I forget.
What is that? Is that the one where they like scrub the ground, the disc?
Hurling. Yeah, hurling. It's like lacrosse, except you keep the ball low
Oh, I see it. Okay.
and you use a stick.
Yeah.
Hurling.
A lot of games with sticks and balls. This movie was also very sexual. A lot of dick jokes. A lot of the way that they were holding the hoses and dudes getting hit in the balls with the balls. Kumstein. There's a lot of different dick jokes. So again, I mean, is there something hidden? The fact that the dude died at 33 was weird, right? The guy he helped establish like Mad Magazine, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. No,
Or
National Lampoons.
National Lampoon, which was
Yeah.
like a Mad Magazine sort of
Yeah.
thing, right?
Yep.
Okay. So again, I mean, I don't know if it's another one of these Hollywood occulted movies that have some sort of deeper hidden meaning, and they use comedy. I had somebody in a chat I was in yesterday or something where they were talking about how when you're laughing, you're in a more susceptible state to things, right? And it seems like comedy nowadays, back then, it was the occultists that were in these espionage circles, and now it seems that in today's age, it's the comedians that are in these espionage circle, federal agent type of roles, right? The number one podcast, right? Joe Rogan. What does he have? This elite group of comedian, the comedian assassins or whatever he calls them. A lot of people talk about maybe perhaps a connection to intelligence of some sorts. So I think comedy is part of it. Satire is part of it. And in my opinion, it has been in the occult since the beginning. A lot of satire, the clowns is Nephilim connection, all that stuff. So again, and the Caddyshack, right? The caddy, even the word gopher means somebody who does like low tasks, right? A task that don't matter. And maybe again, they're hinting at, what did I mention to you? Like a utopia kind of sort of. But again, maybe we're looking too far into it, bro. Maybe just laugh at the gopher.
Mm-hmm. Also, there's one last thing. Looking at my notes here, can we go back to the beginning of the pool scene? The very beginning of the pool scene when they bust into the pool before the titties come out. Because there's something interesting. There's a tiny little caddy that we see throughout most of the movie, whose tiny little kid, 13 or so, but small, real small, 13 at most, 13 at the oldest, looks like 14 at the oldest. And this little caddy, he's wearing a ball cap, and he's the one who's struggling to pull this guy's big golf bag. And a bigger kid asks to help, and the little kid's too stubborn. He says, "No, I got it," and he's struggling with the bag. Okay, well, fast forward to when they go to the pool. That right there, Juan. Pause it right there. Well, let's just see that scene. Go back 5 seconds or so. Yeah. Yeah.
I think I went too far, no?
No, pause it 1 sec. Yeah, do that.
No, I already passed it.
Did you?
Yeah, let me pull it up again.
Okay. Well, there's a kid with that kid has the t-shirt or a jersey with the number 66. Number 66 on his shirt. That's a little kid. Well, that little kid takes off his hat right there, Juan. Takes off his hat, takes off his shirt. He's got a woman's one-piece bathing suit on, and it's a girl. You realize that little boy is actually a little girl who's been pretending to be a boy the whole movie, to make a living or whatever, get a job. Number 66, cross-dressing, dressing as a boy, actually a girl. Now, hang on. That's a New World Order agenda. That's an Illuminati Easter egg. Okay. There ain't no way around that. Got the red hat too, like the Moorish, whatever. It's the uniform of the caddies, yes, but number 66, red hat off, hair comes down, it's a girl. Then guess what? That girl who was seemingly a boy, the lifeguard yells, and she yells back at the lifeguard, "You shave your ass."
Yeah.
Which is either like, screw you, or saying like, I've seen you in the
I did.
nude, like you're, shut up, you're weird because you shave downstairs. You're no weirder than me, like a cross-dressing kid. You're weird too. Something like that. Maybe you're reading into it too much. But 66 on the shirt, whips it off, cross-dressing. That's the kid who knocks the candy bar into the pool too. That's the kid who gets the whole pool drained because the candy bar looks like a turd in the pool.
Yeah, I did hear that part, and I didn't understand it when she said that, or they said that.
Yeah.
So
that was the last thing that I felt had to get included.
all right. What else we got? We did Gulf's occult origins, Buddhism, Gopher wood.
Let's look at Douglas Kenny for a sec at his death. That'll be the last thing.
There we go.
Yeah, someone good comment here. Kind of like the boys that played girls in the theater going way back. Yes, and also Serena Williams and Venus Williams, okay? Yes, it's a political thing, A lot of the Rockefeller wives and early presidents' wives have been gender benders, crypto trannies. But then also in golf, it's a big thing. Yeah, well, here, read that off one for people who can't see.
So Douglas Clark Francis Kenny, American comedy writer of magazine, novels, radio, TV, and film, who co-founded the magazine National Lampoon in 1970. Kenny edited the magazine and wrote much of its early material. He went on to write, produce, and perform in influential comedies Animal House, which came out before Caddyshack, and Caddyshack before his sudden death at the age of 33. Now, they made it seem like he was kind of sort of depressed, might have done it on purpose, might have tripped, but he was born in West Palm Beach, and they did a whole movie on it. What was the name of it that they did?
A Futile Gesture, something like that.
A Futile and Stupid Gesture, produced by Netflix.
Yeah.
And it tells the story of his life a little bit.
Also, he was born in West Palm Beach, Florida. That's pretty much where I am right now. A little bit north of me. Boca Raton's a little bit south of me. I'm in Lake Worth Beach right now, which is more like working class. Boca Raton's ritzy country clubs next to country clubs. Palm Beach Island's like that too. This guy grew up around here. He grew up in South Florida. He had insight into the whole country club lifestyle, the cliches, the tropes.
Went to Harvard,
stereotypes. Yeah, he was a smart guy, apparently. Smart guy. Well connected, maybe. But
look at the bees. It was part of the Signet Society. Look at their logo. Got little bees in there, bro. Around a ring.
So that's Yeah, Douglas Kenny, poor guy. Life cut short at 33. Might have done it himself. The movie kind of makes it look like he did it himself, like he was depressed and hated the fame and success, and they also make it seem like he was way older than 33. 33 is young, dude.
Yeah. Right here, there were rumors. Sushi side didn't believe it. And it's weird. I couldn't find anything else that he was, writing a certain story or exposing something. Usually, how that goes, right? They're about to put something out. Maybe he was. Maybe behind the scenes, right? And there was also I believe it was his funeral or something. There was this cartoon made of him, and it showed a picture of a cliff, and then it had a sign where it said, Doug slipped here. So they were kind of making like a little joke about his death. I believe it was at his funeral right here. The National Lampoon published a tribute to him by Maddie Simmons, as well as a cartoon showing a sign reading, Doug Kenny slipped here next to the edge of a cliff. That's kind of messed up.
Yeah. No, they apparently they had a food fight at his funeral.
Huh. Considered starting a food fight inspired the scene in the Animal House. He would have wanted it that way, but we decided it would be in terrible taste, and out of respect for all the other mourners, we resisted the temptation. But yet you publish a cartoon with a sign next to a cliff saying Kenny slipped here, or Doug Kenny slipped here. I don't know, man. Yeah, I did find it also interesting that his name is eerily similar to Douglas Harriman Kennedy, which was Robert F. Kennedy's kid, his 10th kid. Because when I had looked up Douglas Kennedy had come up. And obviously we know what happened to RFK and that whole thing there. And they have a lot of kids, apparently. The Kennedys have a lot of kids. So, yeah, dude. I mean, I couldn't find anything else as far as to why he would have done it, right? Seemed like a pretty successful guy. A lot of things going for him. But yeah, he still decided to allegedly end it. So,
yeah. Well, guys, here I just started a goal here. Donate to the Old World Florida Xbox Fund if you want to see me playing Grand Theft Auto 6 anytime soon.
Oh my god, bro.
Or spend all your money on Juan's fucking paywall. Up to you guys.
Paywall, bro. I'm grifting, dude.
Just
Help
kidding.
me grift.
I'm only teasing. No, he needs it, guys. Juan's demonetized. Go support him. Where should they find you, Juan?
www.tjojp.com. Find all my stuff on there. And over on the Juan on Juan Media YouTube channel. We're almost monetized again on there, but obviously it's not ever going to be the same.
Yes, it will be. You'll be better. You'll double the progress from before.
Come on over here. And what are we going to be doing next, bro?
Citizen Kane or up to you. Citizen Kane's a good choice.
All right, we'll discuss it. Yeah, well, let's do something interesting. I struggled a little bit with this one.
That's all right.
Well, yeah.
That's all right. Here. Can you hear this? Hell yeah. Well, guys, that's it. We'll see you next Thursday. I might see you sometime before then, but see you Thursday. Hope you enjoyed Caddyshack Exposed, Golf's Occult Origins, Buddhism, Gopherwood, and much, much more. Go check out Juan on Juan at his various channels, okay? He's demonetized. He could especially help our support. So go over there if you haven't already, or if you were before, go subscribe again. And thanks, everyone. Have a good night. Peace.
See you next week.
Apparently, you can't hear that. Okay.
You got to
Here.
share the audio of the.
No, I got it. Yeah.
You're sharing. There you go. I believe in you.
Hang on, we're almost there. All right, guys, this is where the episode's actually starting.
Another 2 hours.
Yep.
We haven't done a 4-hour stream in a while. We probably should.
That takes some callers and shit. Yeah. For a holiday, we'll do it.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Next holiday or something.
All right, boys and girls. Catch you on the next one.
All right. Peace. Good night.
Later.
Yep. Yep. Wild Indian, yeah.
Hey, V, line them up.
I'm a wild Indian, you know I go crazy. Ain't really Indian, that boy fugazi. I just keep it player, you can never play me. You got an ass so fat, girl, let's make a baby. And another one. Then I'm back to the trap, I'm trying double song. She a bad woke chick and I love her tongue. We some jurisdiction boys, we some one-on-ones. Look, don't compare me to no Martin dog, I'm like Malcolm X. Job about our freedom, we'll leave a crack and stretch. Round of applause, boy, you know we clapping text. Chucky Dog, Child Play, yeah, nigga, that's what's next. Open up the cans just like Arizona. Pull up masked up like we got the Rona. We set up jurisdictions when we buy the corner. How you claiming that's your hood and you not the owner? Be the B, I just pulled up in the need for speed. Free the land, tell the colonizers that they need to leave. Wild Indian up in my veins, you know how we bleed. You ain't gotta lie about who we is, dog, just keep it G. We at war, we can't keep the peace. Since we at war, gotta keep the peace. Whack a comb, then I meditate. Should I need to breathe? Keep a Olmec head when we slide, dog, cause we the sheep.
Like my niggas said, bitch, we the sheets. I can't keep the peace. If it pop off, then I want a piece. I'm just on release. I'm in go mode, motherfucker thief. In these streets like EBT, when we at war, make peace with me. I don't give a damn, understand. Fuck who stole this land, white or black or tan. Understand, it's fuck who stole this land. Might have seen me get a little buddy these hands. He wasn't no Abbo man. A lot of these dudes is Sambo man. They full of shit like my ammo can. What they call an N-word out the wrong mouth as an ambulance. Wild Indian, get it in advance, or you can post dated. Ask around, I'm the most hated. Straight sacred, they stole acreage. Yo, ape shit, show ain't shit. It won't be televised, I don't tape shit.
Be the B, I just pulled up in the need for speed. Free the land, tell the colonizers that they need to leave. Wild Indian up in my veins, you know how we bleed. You ain't gotta lie about who we is, dog, just keep it G. We at war, we can't keep the peace. Since we at war, gotta keep the peace. Whack a cone, then I meditate. Should I need to breathe? Keep a Olmec head when we slide, dog, cause we the sheep.